Yes, thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone who has turned up. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for your investment in our democracy, in our community. We'll just give folks a few minutes to come on in here, and then we'll get started. Thank you. There's a chair down front if people would like a seat. You'll be sitting next to Karen, very good company. I'll vouch for her. There's also two down in the center here. There's one in the second row, one in the third row. There's one in the back. I see lots of hands pointing. You're welcome to stand. Standing's good for you, but you're also welcome to sit. So. And there's some more over on your right, the right side of the room. But by the hands-off sign and make lying wrong again, there's some seats over there. You could try those. You're also welcome to stand. I will be standing. You can join me. Give them another few minutes, or? Yeah, there are seats. There's a couple in the middle over here. There's one here. There's one back there. The empty seats down front are reserved for our special guests. Two of whom certainly will not come. One of whom might. So, you got everybody in? All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am Philip Nell. I have called Manhattan, Kansas home for some 25 years now. I am a university professor, but I am not here in that capacity. I do not speak for K-State. They would want me to tell you that, and so I am. I am here as a concerned citizen and as a member of the Manhattan, Kansas chapter of Indivisible, the national pro-democracy movement that takes its name from Indivisible with liberty and justice for all, which you all recognize as part of the Pledge of Allegiance. We had hoped that one or more of our national representatives would be here with us today. When we noticed that they had not scheduled a town hall, we thought, well, we'll schedule a town hall and we'll invite them. You know, we'll do the hard work for them, right? Congressman Mann and Senator Marshall have both declined our invitation. We did not hear back from Senator Moran. Maybe he'll come. I haven't seen him yet, but if he does, we would certainly welcome him. If he doesn't come, we have representations of our representatives, since they're not here to represent themselves, on the empty chairs over here. They're the people who are supposed to be representing us in Washington. When we have our forum, you are welcome to address your questions and comments to them in absentia. This is being live streamed. We will send them a link to the recording afterwards, and who knows? Maybe they're tuning in now, and if they are, welcome, Senators Mann and Marshall. Welcome, Congressman Moran. We hope you can join us in person next time. But since they are our audience, we ask that you keep your tone respectful and make your concerns specific. And we also ask that everybody keep their remarks to under 3 minutes, so that as many people as possible have the chance to be heard. And this, addressing our representatives, will be part one of what we're doing here today. In part two, we'll do what we promised in our advertisement. We'll offer a plan to save American democracy. And then in part three, well, it's really about the Manhattan community and about how we can help each other. So in part one thing we'll be doing is we'll be listening, We'll be learning. We'll be taking notes. We'll be doing what our representatives would do if they were here, or should do if they were here, which is listen to the concerns of the community. Because we know that some of you here have lost jobs, have lost funding, are now facing hardship, may be worried, may be anxious, may be afraid. But you are not alone. We are a community, and we will help each other as best we can, because that is what communities do, that is what Kansans do, that is what Americans do. We help each other. And so that is the plan, right? Part 1, address our representatives, no more than 3 minutes each, tone respectful, concern specific. Part 2, a plan to save democracy. And then Part 3, we will try to address each other's needs as best we can. Our Manhattan, Kansas Indivisible chapter has assembled some resources. We put some also on our website, so if you have to leave early, you can get them from there. And I'm sure there are people in this room who have resources and ideas that we haven't thought of, too. And then finally, I should say, which you may have already guessed, which is that I have never moderated town hall before, so I'm going to do my best, but apologies in advance for any failures of moderation that will inevitably occur. All right, so part one. Here are the rules. One person speaks at a time. Identify yourself if you're comfortable doing that, right? If you're not, we also have a QR code. You can submit an anonymous question that way. We also have some index cards over here. You can submit a question that way. But do identify yourself at the beginning if you're comfortable doing that. Keep your remarks to 3 minutes or less. Speak into the mic. As I say, we're being live streamed, so the mic will help the people in the live stream, but it will also help the people in this room.
If you do not want to come, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you don't want to come up to the mic, we can bring the microphone to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, and if you can't come up to the mic or don't want to come up to the mic, these are portable mics. They can be brought to you. Thank you. And appropriate and inappropriate, appropriate specific concerns, strongly stated opinions. Not appropriate would be shouting, interruption, demands for one-word answers. Now, I've lived in this community for 25 years. I probably didn't need to tell you this, but I thought we should just start by establishing some basic ground rules. And those are the ground rules. So it is time for part one, and I'll cycle back and forth between these two, but whoever would like to either come to the mic or have a question read, we are ready for part one. Mic here, mic over there. I also have some questions that people have delivered. All right.
Okay, I'm going to be brave and start us off. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I am Katie Allen, and I'm here to share how DOGE has personally impacted me. I have been in Manhattan for 12 years. I was born in Kansas, grew up in rural, small-town Kansas. So I'm a real Kansan, not a paid actor here today. My background, I'm an education researcher. I work with educators and leaders in K-12 schools, state education agencies, and universities on a wide variety of projects, all aimed at providing opportunities for students to learn and contribute to society. And I really appreciate the opportunity to share how this has impacted me, because I think most of what we see is on TV and social media, and you think it's far away, and all of this stuff that's happening really doesn't impact real people, but it does. It impacts people in the community. I can tell that probably you all have been impacted in different ways. So DOGE is illegally ending programs put in statute by Congress that serve the American public, and in the process, upending the lives of individual citizens. On February 19th, I was notified that DOGE had the U.S. Department of Education's acting secretary for civil rights immediately cancel, for convenience, a 5-year contract it had with my employer, a nonprofit education research firm, to manage what is called a comprehensive center. Our comprehensive center really works with educators and parents on big issues that the state commissioner says is a priority. We work with the commissioner to understand the state's needs, develop a plan, and then implement that plan. So our projects were state controlled. What we were told is that we were being canceled based on ending indoctrination in government, or the DEI Executive Order 14190. It has absolutely absolutely nothing to do with the work that I do. So in essence, we were proclaimed to be guilty before even we could try to be innocent. So they're really using this divisive issue and trying to paint our public schools and all of the public education as not places where we're helping our kids grow and learn, but that we're just indoctrinating them and creating some kind of moral crisis. So my project, along with 19 others, which fulfill the Education Technical Assistance Act of 2002 and support Title I low-income schools, were all canceled for convenience. I lost my job, which means I've lost my income, which means I've lost my health insurance, which means I've lost my health insurance for my kids. And I've also lost, as somebody working in a specialized career, future opportunities to grow my career. What I also lost was trust in the federal government. This is the first time in my lifetime I've known the federal government to break so many promises to its own citizens, businesses, and education institutions. I think many people understand a desire to move to a smaller government, but obtaining that vision at whatever cost they determine they want is really scary.
We're at 3, so
3 minutes. All right. Well, I really just wanted to share and let you all know it does impact people personally, and I hope others will share what is going on in their lives as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And the mic is yours, and it's also important we use the mic because for the streaming out there, the broadcast is slightly quiet. And so if you are hearing me on streaming, please turn it up. And I see a hand up here. Do you want to come to the mic? Want me to bring the mic to you? Microphone to you.
I think Carolyn's doing it.
I think Carolyn's doing it, but I can also do it. All right.
Where to start?
Where to start? Somewhere.
My name is Jim Evans. I've been here about a year, and my wife and I moved from sunny Florida to enjoy your wonderful winters. But we come from a state where they raid libraries also. But that is beside the point I want to make here. I want to address to our congressional representatives over there several questions. One, how can you support a president who acts unconstitutionally, who breaks the very oath that you have taken to defend the Constitution, and a president, and this gets personal now, and a president who is taking out a lot of his anger and his embarrassment and his plans on our veterans. These are soldiers who we patted on the back and wished them well, and they went and did the dirty work for us, and they come back missing arms and legs, mental injuries, poisoned by Agent Orange. And what is our wonderful president doing? He's cutting VA benefits. How can you three gentlemen support a president who does that? And lastly, tell me, gentlemen, why the state of Kansas should not start a recall petition right away to get you out of there and get people into that position who will take care of Kansas and will love our country and will defend our Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Over here, it looks like. You want to come up? Great. We have 2 mics, so welcome to line up, too.
My name is Charles Bogus. I'm a retired Army, and after I retired, I moved here in 2005. I served for a number of years as an educator here in Kansas. I second what you said, the way the veterans are being treated, and the way that our congressmen and representatives in Washington are behaving. I have to ask, at what point did they decide that their oath or their allegiance was to Donald Trump and the Republican Party over Kansans and their constituents? If they're concerned about being reelected and they're concerned about being primaried by Donald Trump, they really need to think about what's going to happen when Kansans have had enough and decide to put somebody else in office that will fight for us, that will stand up for us, and they will do what's right, not what's convenient or whatever Donald Trump wants. Thank you.
Thank Thank you. And as our next questioner comes to the mic, I'm going to read one of the questions that's come up here. And this question is, what are you doing as Congress members to ensure public lands are not sold to billionaires? Protect our parks, firefighters, and rangers. Our lands fund millions of small businesses and are the livelihood of many U.S. citizens. And I don't know who's coming up next. I can keep reading questions, but I'm going to bring, you need the mic? We can also bring the mic to you. All right. Well, here's a short one while you come up to the mic. What is your plan to contain Musk, an unelected, uneducated immigrant making decisions affecting all of our lives? And now over to you.
My name is Tom Brungard, and I'm the Vice President of the Board of Education in Geary County. My board would like you to know that I do not speak for them. I am a retired teacher, and I used to substitute, and in another school district, which will not be named, I would substitute, and the history and government teacher there would tell me that she was afraid to answer certain of the kids' questions. But then she would say, if Mr. Brungart's in the building, go ask him, because he doesn't care. Now, in my school district, I heard about a teacher that wanted to teach in honor of the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. That poem you all know, First They Came For. But this teacher hesitated. Went up to somebody higher up, and the person higher up said, maybe you ought to think about it a little bit. That sort of thing is dangerous. When students stop getting their questions answered, they stop asking questions. I don't know what these gentlemen can do about it, but this whole fear thing has got to stop. And unless these guys speak up, because I don't think anybody here voted for Donald Trump. I doubt it.
Well,
But
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just thinking. The odds are against it. So the people who need to really put the pressure on are the people who are missing in action up here. Gentlemen, I put it to you. What are you going to do about that?
And I would also say that if you did vote for President Trump, you are welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. I think, yeah. I think you're right. Probably not a lot of people who did are here, but you are welcome. So yes, another question.
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me? Mama used to say they could hear me in the South 40 when I went outside to play. My name is Linda Henson. I'm from Topeka, Kansas, and I'm a proud Kansan. I wrote this down so I could remember it. Please repeat after me. I am somebody.
I am somebody.
Could I hear it just a little bit louder?
I am somebody.
Thank you. I hold no elected position. I'm not officially affiliated with any group. I'm 70 years old come June. I'm retired and I'm disabled. But I'm also a lifelong learner. I remember being in Los Angeles, California with my family. My dad was unfamiliar with the freeways, but we knew that John F. K. was going to be on a parade. And he pulled over at the top of a hill on a freeway because we could see the motorcade coming. And we all jumped out of the car. And my brothers and I ran down that hill because we could see the motorcyclists, we could see the open convertible, we could see him waving. And I swear to God, he smiled at me and waved. And on November 22nd of that year, Walter Cronkite told me that he was assassinated. I was 8 years old. I believed in Martin Luther King's dream. I believed in Bobby Kennedy's platform of racial and economic equality, and I saw their assassinations on TV. I was 14 when I saw on TV the Ohio National Guard shooting down students on the campus of Kent State. But as John Lennon said in his song, Imagine, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I am not the only one. I believe in democracy and freedom, and I hold these truths as self-evident. To quote the U.S. Constitution, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Look around for a moment. Look at the people sitting next to you. Look at the people in front of you. Look at the people behind. Look at all the folks around the room. This is what democracy looks like.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Johnson, and if you need to know that I'm a real Kansan, I'm only here today because there is no conflict with Kansas basketball. That should establish it. My question is mainly for Senator Moran, but I would appreciate responses from the others as well. Senator, in October, you and several of your colleagues went to Hungary, and you said, our delegation and many of our colleagues in Congress are increasingly concerned by Hungary's deepening and expanding relationship with Russia and the continued erosion of its democratic institutions. Those erosions, of which you spoke, include things like efforts to weaken judicial independence by appointing loyalists to the courts and passing legislation that curtails judicial oversight, targeting independent media outlets and civil society, subjecting them to harassment, intimidation, and restrictive laws, targeting universities. Does any of this sound familiar? In the last 2 days, Donald Trump has targeted universities, getting Columbia University to cave. He has targeted CNN, MSNBC, the AP, CBS, and other news outlets. He has called for judicial impeachments for people making rulings he doesn't like. The question to you, Senator Moran, is you have stood up for the democracy in Hungary. When will you do the same for ours? We're here doing our part. We need you to step up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sharon Davis. I'm all your neighbor, and I'm their neighbors too. And I just want to speak up today in regards to immigration and to state that we are all immigrants. If any of you is not diverse, I want to know about that, because I don't know how you got here. So we are diverse. It's a fact, and we need that diversity. We need it so badly right now. Our own economy in this state depends on those who are doing jobs that not one of us, I'm almost willing to wager, would want to do. Are you a roofer? Do you help with butchering? Do you help with agriculture? We need those immigrants, and we need them to be without fear. It is not acceptable what we are doing. We also have guaranteed rights to asylum. My mother in 1945 handed me the UN Declaration of Human Rights, and that UN Declaration of Human Rights has not changed. Everyone in this planet deserves an opportunity for asylum if they are threatened the way so many people have been threatened at our borders. Our environment in this state is at risk, and we have some of the leading environmental scientists at Kansas State University and KU. Why are you not accessing them, Senator Moran, and why are you not speaking up regarding that need? The federal government's job is to secure our highways, our environment, so that we as citizens can operate, to work, do our jobs, help each other. Please listen to the environmental scientists that you have at your fingertips and stand up.
Thank you. Thank you. We have room for more questions. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Courtney Hockman. I'm a mom. I'm a real Kansan. Since 2000, I came out here to go to school. I love K-State. I love Manhattan. I'm raising my children here, mom of 3. Gentlemen, I made it here today. Why didn't you? But I echo many of the concerns of friends here, but the biggest two for me are education and healthcare. My oldest child is significantly disabled and on Medicaid and deserves his free and appropriate education in the school system. Why are we not protecting this? He deserves all of the IDEA protections, so do his friends. All of our children deserve schools. They deserve school meals because they're required to be in this place to learn. They can't learn if they're hungry. Why are we taking money away from farmers? We could be getting local food for our students. Why aren't you here? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And as the next person comes to the mic, I will just read one of the questions that have come in, which is, 1, when will the March on Washington be? Can we finally get Trump the crowd size he wants? And the second one is less of a punchline, but it's how do we combat personal threats to Congresspeople and their families, which may also explain the absence here. But go ahead.
Hi. Is this one on? Yeah. I'm Christopher Renner, and I'm a teacher. I work at Tom Bungart's school district over at 475, and I teach a sheltered ESL first grade classroom, meaning all my students are English language learners. Right now I have children from Guyana in Africa. I have children from China. I have children from Colombia. I have children from Honduras. I have children from Guatemala and Mexico and Puerto Rico. Okay? On Friday, our illustrious president decided to destroy the Department of Education. Kansas receives $772.8 million in federal aid. That comes to $1,592 per student. Senator Moran, Senator Marshall, and Representative Mann, what are you going to do to make sure that rural districts in this state get this money? Because right now it's going to be gone. Since our illustrious state legislature does not consider it proper to fully fund education, and especially SPED education, special education, how are we going to make up this money? It means that we will now have classrooms with 30, 40 kids in them. We will not have support for speech pathologists, like the student in my classroom who has a birth defect so he cannot speak. I have nobody to help teach him sign language without this money. What are you going to do? Now, Mr. Marshall, in particular, since you've accused me of being a a Democrat operative, I just want you to know, my great-grandparents came to Kansas in 1870 after serving in the Civil War and being not once, but twice wounded in the Indiana Infantry. He served under General Sherman in the March to the Sea and participated in the burning of Atlanta. My uncle, Francis John Renner, was killed the same day the Japs attacked Pearl Harbor because he was defending Wake Island. My roots in Kansas go far and deep, Miss Senator Marshall. I don't think yours do. Thank you.
You never know. He may be tuning in from his $1.2 million Florida home. He might be watching us. Yes. More? Coming up, yes, coming up here, and then you go next, maybe? Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Bill Dickinson. I'm a rural Kansan born and raised. I come from Miami County, and I feel like I have a unique qualification to speak on our county's history, which has had a profound effect on the nation at large. It is the county that John Brown was headquartered in during his fight against slavery in the era of Bleeding Kansas. I believe that Brown's fight and our unique origin story gives Kansas a unique duty to stand on the right side of history and for justice. It extends... I have visited the cabin that he was headquartered in, and I am inspired by his fight and his courage to stand up and not negotiate or skirt around this unique injustice and this unique evil. He went on to raid Harper's Ferry, was hanged for it by the state of Virginia, and became a martyr for the cause of abolition. I believe that in our state's history goes beyond that in the fight against inequality. We gave women the right to vote in 1912, several years before the 19th Amendment was ratified. And the one president that we lay claim to, Eisenhower, fought the Nazis in World War II and stood against school segregation in the wake of the Brown v. Board of Education decision. So I feel, again, that our state has this unique legacy and origin story. But I feel like our politicians, both local and federal, are failing to live up to that legacy. They continue to sell out and shill out to oligarchs and fascists who continue to undermine our institutions and are threatening the very freedoms that men like John Brown fought for. And so I simply want to address you three men and tell you that you should really, really reconsider your positions, which, let's face it, they're not. I'm just kind of a drop in the bucket, but it's the best I can do. And think back to our state's legacy. Marshall, you and the rest of the politicians who accuse people of being paid operatives and not real Kansans, we are real Kansans. We are living up to our legacy.
Thank you. Go ahead, Noah.
Hi. I made the mistake of not writing anything down, and I kind of have a headache, so bear with me. Part of my ancestors were settlers here. They came here in a covered wagon. Others immigrated here, and I've always thought that we had some pretty, great morals and values. And just seeing, growing up here and learning more about our politics and what's going on right now, that's kind of coming into question. With all this talk about government efficiency, the Republicans and these two gentlemen here continuously vote for more money to the Pentagon and towards our defense, while the Pentagon continuously fails their audits. Trump has, and when we're talking about morals and values, Trump has explicitly said that he wants to ethnically cleanse Gaza and put up hotels, and it's not even, it's not covered. It's ethnic cleansing and genocide that's just right out there. And I wanted to bring to your attention that something you might not be aware of, but we don't have free speech here in Kansas. We have anti-BDS laws, boycott, divestment, and sanctions. So if you are a teacher or an engineer or somebody who relies on a license from the state of Kansas, that license will be taken away from the state if you criticize any of our investments in Israel. And we have a couple of them. We have K-State, they do research agreements with Israel when it comes to drip irrigation. There's also the Rabies Lab, they do business. There's Israel Chemical Limited in Lawrence, Kansas. They produce white phosphorus for fertilizer, but also white phosphorus or white phosphorus bombs, which is a war crime because white phosphorus is super hot. It sucks the oxygen out of the air. But they're using these against civilian populations in southern Lebanon. And I think if we are to have any kind of moral backbone or standing, we need to take a fierce stance against any kind of ethnic cleansing and genocide. And we need to speak up about our role as Kansans and our role that these three gentlemen and Trump are playing. It's, I know this doesn't directly, affect you when it comes to like cuts to your Social Security or whatnot, but I can promise you, bombing other people in other countries does not help anybody. It actually makes us more dangerous. So, again, thank you. I wish I would have written this all down, but
No worries,
yeah.
you got it. Thanks, Noah. Thank you. We have room for more speakers, and I'm going to read another question while the next person comes up. This is, how far will Trump go before you oppose him? What is the breaking line? Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Lee. I'm a sophomore at MHS and probably either the or one of the youngest people in this room.
Welcome.
And I'd just like to say, going to school as a high schooler, we have a fair amount of work. I should be able to focus on my schooling without worrying about some of my friends who are on visas or green cards, getting deported and not being able to see them again, even though they are here legally. I should not have to worry about my friend who is from Honduras possibly staying there in the summer because it's literally not safe for her to be there and I may not see her again. I should not have to worry about my IEP goals being taken away, or I know people with autism and their special adjustments may be taken away, making it harder for them to learn, harder for them to get jobs, harder for them to adapt, just do well in life. I should not have to worry about my FAFSA being taken away and making it harder for me to get into college, right? Financial aid is important, college is expensive. I should not have to worry about, I want to go into a biology field. I should not have to worry about my field not existing by the point I'm trying to go to college. Like environmental science, we'll see how that goes. I'm in the queer community. I should not have to worry about being illegal, like they're trying to do from Texas. I lived in Texas for most of my life, and soon I may be a felon there. So fun. And I have plenty of friends who are also affected by this, who are worried. I should not have to worry about possibly leaving to Canada in order to feel safe in a state as a student, as a minor. This is not okay, and these Congress people right here are actively either promoting or allowing or confirming people in office who are doing this. And this is not okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go on this side next, and then perfect.
Hi there, my name is Rachel. I work at K-State, but I don't speak for K-State. I'm very heavily trained to say that. I am an out trans non-binary person, and here in Kansas, that means that I am subjected to all kinds of threats and harassment. But the reason that I say that is that I think it's really important that our young people have possibility models. So I am a happy, functioning, married, queer person that has a great life and it is pretty achieved in my career. And I'm married to my partner in the same county that my great-grandparents were married in, and then people in my family went to California and hung out there for a while, and then I came back because I got a job here. It was very exciting. But what's happening is that we are every year seeing more and more anti-trans, anti-LGBT, anti-people with uterus legislation that literally makes staying alive more difficult. And so a big part of this is trying to get the people who will not listen to us, will not show up, don't understand that accountability is not violence, it's an invitation to show up for our communities. When we say that what you're doing is transphobic or what you're doing is racist, that's not us discriminating, that's us asking for you to show up better, and we're asking for this to be better. The amount of laws that are being proposed and passed that make it so that parents don't have parental rights to decide healthcare for their children. The amount of laws that are being passed that target teachers and threaten them with felonies. The amount of laws that are trying to be passed that limit people's ability to decide what literally happens in their bodies, that would make it against the law to access abortion care if their lives are being threatened by what's happening internally. It's really disturbing, and I want to make sure that the people that represent our communities understand that the best way for people to decide what they need is for their individual families, parents, kids, teachers that are informed and experts to decide, not folks that think that they know because they've Googled something or that they have people in power telling them how to control rather than empower. And so a big part of what I would ask is that whatever approach we're trying to take is that accountability is a big part of an invitation to show up for us better. And if they are not being accountable, then they don't get to show up for us. And we need a recall, and we need other people representing us.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Leslie Wren. I also work for K-State, and I do not represent them in being here today, but I do represent, I think, what we all dream for in terms of democracy and the idea of America that's still evolving. And I'm speaking right now because I imagine that there is someone in an office somewhere who is really writing a press release right now that's going to characterize this event as a therapy session for people with Trump derangement syndrome. And I just want to say, I will not be shamed by somebody saying that I participate in therapy. Therapy is wonderful. Mental health and mental health care is probably the biggest reason why we've seen so much social evolution in the last 40 years of this country. So I just want to say, you will not shame me, and you will probably not shame many of the people in this room by suggesting that we need therapy. We've been to therapy, and it's made us better people. It's made us better parents, better citizens. That you can't say that. But going to therapy has also taught me about boundaries and recognizing that it is not acceptable for someone to insist on a civil relationship with me if they are working against my health, my security, my rights. And so I just want to say that I see this, and any saying that, oh, you're not showing me the courtesy that I'm due or the civility that I'm due. No, sirs, you lost that claim to civility with how you've been treating me and my fellow community members. I do want to recognize, though, that either you have no moral compass, no problem with cruelty, or you are under duress. And perhaps many of your colleagues are also under some sort of duress or threat that we're not aware of. If you are under duress, reach out to us. I cannot promise that you will be reelected, but we will help you because of our therapy. Make a proper apology, which involves acknowledging that what you've done is wrong, saying I'm not going to do it again, and saying I am going to commit myself to making it right. You at least have an option of not going down in history as an ignominious Kansan. So if you need the help, reach out. We've done the work. We're here to help you. Thank you.
Thank you. I will, thank you. I'll read another question while we wait for the next person to come up. This question is, how many federal workers who reside in Kansas, and many of whom are raising families in Kansas, have been fired or are at risk due to the unconstitutional actions of DOJ, Musk, and Trump? And at what cost to our Kansas economies? So that's the question. Go ahead. Oh yeah, you can also take the mic off if you want.
That's all right.
These are portable. They just come right off. So
I'm John Cook. Ironically, I'm a retired therapist, so thanks.
Can you just lean into the mic a bit just so that they can hear us online?
So I spent the last 14 years of my career as a Department of Defense social worker at Fort Riley. So I know a little something about civil service and about how hard people in the civil service work. I also am the product of a long line of medical providers. My grandfather was a medical missionary in China, and then during the Depression was taking chickens in return for medical care. My dad was a career-long VA physician. My daughter-in-law is a physician at KU Medical Center. So I've heard a few things about the medical field. Dr. Marshall, you indicated in your most recent newsletter that you were proud to have taken large numbers of Medicaid patients and treated them over the years, that you had never turned a patient away for inability to pay for your services. I am curious about whether you can make a personal promise that people on Medicaid, older women who are on Medicare and need gynecological services, people in need of medical care in general will be able to receive that care. I also would hope that you could promise that there would never be a chainsaw allowed in an operating room.
Okay, now no one look at me because I'm nervous, okay? My name is Mary Ann Andrews. I've lived in Manhattan for 37 years, and I think it's the best place going, personally. First of all, I'd like to ask our three gentlemen who were invited but wished not to attend why they didn't accept the invitation to attend our town hall meeting. I mean, we're really pretty nice people. But what I want to know is something that's been brought up on some of the other questions. Is it fear of retaliation from the Trump-Musk presidency? And I'd like to remind you that our government is made up of 3 separate branches intentionally, so no one branch becomes more powerful and dominates the other. It takes strong leaders to make sure that this does not occur. Gentlemen, you are no longer strong. You no longer listen or hear what those of us that you represent in Kansas, what we need. A dear friend recently introduced me to a book entitled Strongman, The Rise of 5 Dictators and the Fall of Democracy, written by Kenneth C. Davis. In this book, which I know personally has been sent to your DC offices, on page 214 and 215, it spells out the blueprint typically employed by those wishing to become dictators and their regime to gain control. They are extreme nationalism that calls for restoring a country's past glory or greatness, placing blame on a single group, usually an ethnic or religious minority or foreign threat, warning of an emergency, often non-existent, or responding to severe economic distress that threatens the nation, calls for law and order and eliminating corruption. Once in power, a strong man will move to control the courts, legislature, and elections. This is happening right now. Heightens an emergency that does not exist. Creates a crisis that may demand military intervention. I think there's 2 countries out there that are very aware of this. Takes control of the media. As we've heard recently, CNN, MSNBC. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. And now they're gunning for PBS and NPR.
And we are at 3 minutes, so just whatever the concluding part is.
Okay. So among these and many others, this is what's going on, and there are more. So gentlemen, please read the book that was sent to you and look to page 214 and 215 and do what you know is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I can read another question while somebody else comes up. But here, I'll read this as you make your way to the mic. This question says, I'm retired and on Social Security and Medicare, and I have funds in an investment account which is losing money. What are your thoughts about all of us losing our Social Security money and health care? So that's the question.
My name is Mary Ann Siebert. I live in Marion County. And for a minute, I want you to pretend that I am John Siebert, my husband. I'm speaking on his behalf. He is a decorated Navy SEAL. He's a 100% disabled veteran, and he receives a stipend from the U.S. Treasury every month, and we depend on that. So here's John speaking. I've been a lifelong Republican. I have never voted outside of the Republican Party, but I can no longer do that. This president has gone too far. He is, and this is Mary Ann now, speaking about John. He has never been a political animal until now, and it has caused him a lot of depression because he believes that he risked his life in Vietnam for the values that are part of this country and that are being attacked. And so my question for our legislators is, how can you support a president who calls POWs losers? John McCain would roll over in his grave if he knew that. John and I are threatened by, we're waiting for the axe to fall on the VA and discontinue veterans' benefits because they are pushing to have those directly service-related. John has lost one leg. He didn't get it blown off in Vietnam, but his general health is directly related to bathing in Agent Orange in Vietnam when he was a young man. So do what you're supposed to do and protect the veterans and make sure that the Department of Defense is not led by an idiot.
Wow. Great. Further questions? Go ahead. I can. Yeah.
My name is David Wyertz. I'm a fifth-generation Kansan, as Mr. Mann likes to say. And my grandson is seventh generation, and it's very important to me that we can protect things in our nation and the world so that the next 7 generations have a decent life. I think it's really important for all of us here in the center of the country, in MAGA world, to figure out how to talk to our neighbors and people we run into in the grocery store. Right after Doge and Musk invaded the government, and I started hearing about this, I went into the dentist, and they said, "Hi, David, how are you doing?" And I said, "Personally, I'm fine, but I'm afraid for my country, and it's being attacked." And they were like, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah, this is Project 2025. It's happening. It's going on right now." And so, so they were polite and really kind of clueless, but and then I was in the dentist room, and the woman getting me ready for some new dental work, I started ranting off to her, and she was like, "Okay, calm down." I said, "Just tell me that you'll call your senator, and I'll quiet down." And then the dentist came in, and I was like, and he said, he's a great dentist, and he said, "I really am unaware that all this is happening. How can I?" And I said, "Heather Cox Richardson, and somebody else," and he took note of that. He took that down. I missed an opportunity a few days ago in a grocery store when a man was fussing about the cost of ground pepper. And I thought, there's a lot bigger things going on. But we need to engage people so that people find out how to find out. And we need to make more people aware of what's going on, because the two things that we can do are help slow things down in the courts, so donate money to
ACLU? Donate money to ACLU?
Yeah, ACLU and
Democracy Forward, sure.
many things, the National Resource Defense Council. But we also have to get a groundswell of people. We have to get more and more people on board, so that if we can delay things through the courts enough, then perhaps we can have the midterms really turn around.
We're at 3 minutes, so just
Okay, because otherwise, it's street fighting, and it'll be super ugly. So I'm just encouraging everybody to talk to people who don't agree with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. You can bring it down a bit there, yeah.
Hello there. I'm Gretchen Lewis. I'm a grandma. And my concerns, Senators Moran and Marshall and my representative, are for children. I'm concerned for my grandchildren who are 8 years old and 10 years old. I'm concerned for their health. I wrote to all of you when Robert Kennedy Jr. was nominated to head the Department of Health, and I did not get a response. I am concerned that politically, religion is being used as an excuse to defund, vaccination programs, to spread misinformation about health. So I am very worried about that. I'm worried about access to health care in general. I'm worried about the demise of Medicaid. My grandchildren don't need it, but there are an awful lot of my friends who do. I'm concerned a little bit, because I am a grandma, with Medicare, but right now I'm concerned with Medicaid. I'm concerned with the attacks on the public schools. I'm a product of the public schools. I come from a family of teachers, and it's not just my job, but it's when we were growing up in the 50s, we were told that we were a pretty cool, great country. And the reason we were was because we educated our children. And I am very concerned that that support is evaporating and is being it's not just evaporating, it is being pushed aside by the federal government and the state government. Finally, I'm concerned with what we're teaching our children, that it's okay to belittle other people, that you make fun, that you bully. This is painful, painful. As a woman of faith, I'm a Baptist preacher's kid, and I believe that God loves all children, period.
Hi, everybody. My name's Teresa. I also work at Kansas State University, but do not represent them at all. Got to go ahead and get my little disclaimer out. I'm looking at the deliberate dismantling of the whole entire foundation of who we say we want to be as a country. And I'm watching you guys just be willfully ignorant, lackadaisical, and very standoffish and standing by while everything from health care to education to our children is being attacked. And I just want to know, what is in it for you guys at this point? What are you getting out of people's suffering? Because that is what's happening. I personally cannot justify whether you don't agree with anyone's political perspective, how do you justify just watching people be hurt, watching people suffer, watching people needlessly have to fold under this oligarchy that is trying to come? None of you took an oath to support billionaires and profits. You work for people. And I need you to remember that, because we remember that, okay? And all I'm gonna say is the quiet thing out loud. Are y'all compromised, and is there something keeping you from doing your actual jobs? All I wanna know.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We have, yep, go ahead.
It's really great to see so many people here. Some of you I'm sorry.
Yeah, speaking to the mic
okay.
as best you can.
Some
Thanks.
of you I know, some of you I don't. My name is Mary Sire. I'm not a native Kansan, but I've lived in Manhattan for 40 years. I'm a K-State retiree. I've never spoken for K-State, so but they don't care about me anymore. My husband is a disabled vet. We need the VA. We need his health care. We need our Social Security. I'm also a proud mom to LGBTQA citizens, one of whom is a veteran. And thank you. And Senator Marshall, I'd really like to ask you not to be so condescending in your replies. You made it a point to tell me you had taken biology classes. Well, let me tell you, so have I. But since you and I took biology classes, biology has changed. We've learned more. Open your minds, open your hearts. My God, find out the little bit of conscience I think maybe the three of you have, and do what is right for this country and for the citizens of Kansas. We expected that. I didn't vote for you, but I still expect it.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maureen Olevnik, and am I closer? I've got a cold. I hope I don't share it with anybody here. My name is Maureen Olevnik, and I am also a native Kansan, born and raised in Manhattan. I didn't write anything down, so I didn't come as prepared as I should have, but I want to speak to one specific program that has been frozen under the USDA grant application system. There's a program called RFSI. It impacts many, many small farmers around the state. I am here representing my daughter and son-in-law. They own Piccalilli Farm. I see a lot of their customers sitting around here, and we appreciate that. But they've frozen the funding on this. The kids are a year into it. They have put an incredible amount of money and time and effort into putting this together, and about halfway into it, it was frozen. They are looking at the potential of losing a lot of money. I would guess potentially their farm if it gets clawed back. But our youngest daughter from California did write something and posted it on Facebook, and I thought, since I didn't come prepared, I would read what she wrote because it was very good. Friends, you know I rarely post anything at all, but I need absolutely everyone to be aware of this. This is my family. My sister and brother-in-law own a farm. They are the hardest working people I've ever encountered. The USDA is not only freezing their grant, but threatening to recoup previously spent money from these guaranteed funds, putting their livelihood and future at risk. Please read the post. Please read the post. The post is out on Facebook if anybody's interested, but a letter came in from the Kansas Department of Agriculture. It is unconscionable to do this. Oops. They have put their heart, soul, blood, sweat, tears, everything they have into this farm, and by extension into their community. They work their asses off to secure funding as well. They have poured their lives into bettering food systems in my hometown, doing some of the most important work I can think of, literally from the ground up, from the soils to people's mouths. This is happening in America today. So for those of you that know Pickle Lily Farm, thank you for your support. Our hope is that our representatives here will have the fortitude to unfreeze this. From my perspective, this isn't just obviously impacting them. This is impacting small farms across the country. Those RFSI grants were from states all over the country. And I think that the focus on family farm is highly at risk right now. Corporate farming could easily take over things. We do not live on field corn and soybeans alone. We need food. We need food locally. If the COVID epidemic didn't teach us anything, it should have taught us that having that food available locally was critical to our well-being. So, thank you.
Yeah, not tall. Hi, folks. I'm Joe Smith, believe it or not. I was complaining about the damn price of pepper. It used to be 59 cents, now it's $2.99. Ow. But I'm from Los Angeles, California. I came to Manhattan in '74 after my third tour in Vietnam. I'm disabled. My wife is disabled, and they want to cut our Social Security, all $1,200. I mean, God, none of us are rich off of it. But I had a son born in 1990. In 2019, he told me he was my daughter. She is beautiful, but she's scared as hell. This orange one up there has promoted hate for just about everybody. But I'm scared for my daughter. And if someone was to do something nasty, I'd have to go to Washington, Seattle, where she moved. She's happy there. Folks, I'm preaching to the choir because everybody in here understands. I don't think one of those people's fan club is here. If you are, come up here and speak. You know, we'd like, and even though you're on the right side, many of you don't know a gay or a transgender. You're afraid of them because they're totally different. It's the same as what was afraid of the black people back in the 50s and 60s. I invite you to come down April 12th to the city park. It's going to be Pride Gathering. It's beautiful. No one will bite you. No one will try and twist your arm to join them. They'll welcome you, okay? Let's vote these people out. Let's vote them out.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's
Yes,
Tim.
Oh, go ahead.
My name's Tim Peveril, and he asked for a spokesperson to come up for the Republican side. It ain't me. But I would like to read this from a prominent Republican about immigration. Said illegal immigrants in considerable numbers have become productive members of our society and are a basic part of our workforce. Those who have established equities in the United States should be recognized and accorded legal status. That pinko was Ronald Reagan. And I agree with him completely in that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Indivisible will also have a table on the gay and trans day on at Pride Day. Yeah, Little Apple Pride Day on the 12th, right? Yeah, so sorry, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Shannon Eichhoff. I'm not a native Kansan. I came here in 1989, the same year as our former football coach. Not a coincidence, I'm sure. I am a mother to 8 children. I have been a public school teacher for nearly 30 years, primarily in the field of special education. So what I have to say to these people are, what are you going to do to stop gutting public education? What terrifies me the most is that we are moving closer and closer to the privatization of all education, which is a direct violation to what these people claim to stand for, the founding fathers who claimed that public education was the absolute underpinning of our nation. I've also heard several of my colleagues talk about teachers being afraid, and I am one of those teachers that's afraid. I teach at the Flint Hills Job Corps. I work for USD 383. I do not represent them, just to be very clear. And I work with some of the most marginalized human beings that you have met. In my classroom, 14 different languages are represented. I work with refugees from all over the world. Some of my kids have lived in refugee camps in Africa and Eastern Europe for a decade. To watch public education be gutted for the sake of educating the wealthy and letting our most precious children fall on the cutting floor of factory education when those kids don't fit the model makes me sick. Before I came into this meeting, I sat in this library and I was filling out an application to become a professor at a university outside of the state of Kansas, because I'm afraid that I will no longer be able to teach real history. I can't teach real science. I can't teach real anything anymore. I'm scared to death that if I have a flag in my classroom that says all are welcome here, it's going to be replaced by a sign that says whites only over the damn water fountain. So if these three can do anything to help change that, if you've got the guts to stand up to the Dorito Mussolini and tell him that he does not have the right to gut public education, then you know, great, come tell us about it. I have a kid that's gay. 2 of my children have served in the United States Air Force. I am an American. My student loans prove it. Right? Yeah, and before he got in office, because I've served students that have been marginalized for almost 30 years, I was going to get a break on my student loans. Not anymore. That means I'm going to be going like red in my golden years.
We're at 3, so whatever.
All of us. So that's all I have to say. Please stand up for public education and continue to support Job Corps through the Department of Labor.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm probably the newest Kansan in this room. I just moved here 2 months ago today. Thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
And judging from the people in this room and the wonderful things I've heard, I picked the right damned place, Manhattan. So I do have to say, though, I'm actually from Virginia. I want to apologize on the behalf of that state for hanging John Brown. But no, my family's roots in this country go back almost 400 years. Wow. They have fought in pretty much, I'm going to go out on a limb and say every damn war this country's ever had, including the Revolution. My German ancestors came from Germany to fight in the Revolutionary War. And my uncle was in World War II. My father was in the Korean War. My father-in-law was in the Vietnam War. My ex-husband was in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he is 100% disabled because of that service. And I don't really want to talk about veterans benefits because we know, I mean, I'm scared. I'm on TRICARE. So that scares me. So what I want to talk about, though, and I don't hear a lot about it, is the absolute erasure that is going on with black veterans, female veterans, LGBTQ veterans. They're taking them off the DOD website. They're gone. And it's gone so far as they have taken a building off that list in my hometown of Richmond, Virginia, that housed black soldiers for 100 years. It's now the Black History Museum of Richmond. They took it off. They took it off the DOD list because black people were in the building. They served there. It's disgusting. I cannot tell you how angry it makes me that they just, and what I want to know from these people, is that okay with you? Is that okay with you? These are veterans. These are people who, they're heroes. They fought for a country who hated them. They fought for a country that hated them, and you're just going to take them off like they never existed. It's disgraceful. Thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm going to do this so I don't have to lean over.
Perfect.
My name is Carol Barta. I'm the mother of 3 and the grandmother of 7. All of these cuts that DOJ has made has affected every single member of my family. My daughter is currently the garrison executive officer at Fort Bragg. She leaves that job on Friday because she can't take it anymore. She was one of those people required to take all the LGBT stuff off of the website. I have a son who's a Green Beret, who's in 7th group, which means they're going to wherever they decide to send them in the southern hemisphere here. And my other son is the CEO of a small hospital in Kansas. And his hospital has not gotten their Medicare payments, Medicaid payments, I should say, for the months of January and February when that stopped. And I want to talk specifically to Senator Moran and Senator Marshall, because both of them have a dog in the fight of Kansas hospitals. Last week, we had a terrible tragedy in western Kansas. Now the death toll is up to 12. People were killed in that dust storm. What we have out there in western Kansas is only critical access hospitals. So there weren't any level 1 trauma centers to take. 4 of those people were not killed instantly. They were taken to hospitals there. But there was no level 1 trauma center out there to take them to. They had to be transported to Wichita. They had to be transported to Kansas City. Because we have not funded those rural hospitals because they're getting very small amounts of payment from Medicaid and Medicare. And if we don't do something to fix that, we're going to lose every one of those hospitals in this state that are out in the rural areas. And I don't know how healthy Ascension is, so I don't even know how good we have it here in Manhattan, because they get paid very little. And if you're on Medicare and you look at the statement that you get and you see what the hospital gets compared to what the amount of the bill is, you know that they're not getting paid. So, gentlemen, you have a job to do, and we need to fund these hospitals before we lose them and everyone in rural Kansas has no health care at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Kathy Sherlock. I've lived in Manhattan for 3 years, almost 4. I am from Northwest Kansas, from Colby and Goodland area. I didn't have any, fortunately, people died. I didn't know them, but they died. And little bitty hospitals from all around, Colby, Goodland, Oakley, St. Francis, everybody came out to help. We do that in Kansas. We help each other. We help each other in the United States. Whether it's Ukraine, whether it's whoever it is, we help. I'm going to get churchy on you, I'm sorry. But that, I believe, is what this country was called to do. To them who are given much, much is required. And you all stand there every time you hear from a bunch of so-called liberals, which we all are, I know. But before we are liberals, we are Americans. And we need America to continue to exist the way that it has for the last 225 years. God put us here for a reason. To them who much has been given, much is required. Yes, it costs money. It costs money. But capitalism is based on a feeling of scarcity, not on a feeling of abundance. That is, a feeling of abundance is what the Native Americans do. When they find something, they share it with everybody else. So nobody's in need. And what little we give to those who are poor, those who are sick, to those of us who are aging, and I'm an aging social worker, and I worked mental health for 25 years, so I get it. We give. But what it costs is nothing in dollars as to what it costs in human dignity, pride, and health.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Marty.
I'm Marty Courtois. I was born in Chicago, but I've lived in Manhattan for the last 20 years. And is that better? Okay. And I'd like to read something from Senator Moran's recent newsletter. 3 years after Vladimir Putin ordered Russia's unjustified invasion of Ukraine, the war's death and destruction continues to destabilize the wider world. Putin must be isolated, and Ukraine must be supported by the U.S. and its allies until a just and lasting peace is won. And I congratulate Senator Moran on that statement. He hasn't been very, I'm sorry. I congratulate Senator Moran on that statement, but he hasn't gone further and brought anything to the Senate floor or a bill or tried to build that support for Ukraine in any way. Even worse, Senator Marshall, on the same topic, has pledged not a penny more, and it's Europe's war. And so we've heard from a lot of veterans today, a lot about America's standing in the world. And I think since 1941, the United States has been the leader of the free world, and our president has been the leader of the free world. And I guess what upsets me is that I see that being given away to Russia, no support for Ukraine, and it's just not in the U.S. best interest and not in our history to be giving that all away to Russia.
Thank you. Gonna try to wrap this part up in the next 5 minutes, so we'll take a few more. Go ahead.
Okay, so my name's Lori Harlan. I've lived in Manhattan now for 25 years, but I'm a born and raised Kansan. I'm a product of public education, and I'm proud to be the daughter of a public educator. When I was in college, I was incredibly lucky. I was able to intern one summer for, at that time, Congressman Moran and Senator Roberts. And while my politics have shifted since then considerably, I wanted to specifically ask something of you, Senator. When I was in your office, it was the second day I was there, and your staff was so energetic, and I could tell that they had a passion for serving Kansans. And there was a bill that another congressman wanted a co-sponsor on. and they had contacted the office. They didn't know much about the bill, and so one of the staff members offloaded researching that bill to the new girl. And so I researched a bill, and the staff person I worked with said, Lori, be ready to brief the congressman tomorrow on whether or not he should support this bill. And so I researched it, and I went in there, and I was so nervous to sit in front of him and to say, this is what this bill is about. And then he said, what do you think I should do? And I said, I think you should co-sponsor this bill. And the way that the bill had been brought forward originally for his review was because there was a constituent in Garden City that had sent a letter about this no-name bill that no one had heard of and said, Congressman Moran, I'd really like for you to support this. And so that's why they had given me that task. And so I told him that I thought it would be a good idea to support this bill, and he did. And he co-sponsored it, and it went through Congress. And that day, as a 20-year-old college student, I felt so heard. He listened to me, and he valued what I said and what his constituents said. And so, Senator Moran, I haven't seen you in 20 years. I am asking you, not only for me, but for everyone in this room, these constituents that I know that you care about, please listen to us. Please hear us. My shirt says, history has its eyes on you. We also have our eyes on you. And I know that you have it in your capacity to hear us. I know that you are a man of principle, and I have seen it. I am asking you once again to listen to the people into this room. Listen to your constituents. We need your help.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. You feel free to take the mic off and yeah.
Sure thing. Hi, I'm Braden Almond. I'm a graduate student at K-State, and I study particle physics. And so I'm very concerned about science in America right now, and I think the entire world is actually very concerned about science in America right now. Recently in the news, there was a French diplomat who was turned away at the border from trying to go to a conference in the United States for just not liking Trump. They took his phone, they looked through it, and they said, oh, you have inflammatory comments about Trump, we don't want you here. That's bad. That's really bad. So the reality right now is that things are crumbling, and our Congress chairs, or Congress people, they're not doing anything about it. And so we need to continue putting pressure on them. One thing in particular, in December last year, Ted Cruz put together a list of grants that totaled $2 billion, which I guess is small potatoes on the scale of a government, but it is important to the communities that the grants go to. Of those $2 billion, $10 million in grants went to Kansas, and it seems that these people, these Congress chairs, are proud that we are under scrutiny for that $10 million. That's $10 million that this state does not get, that other states will get to improve science and improve the lives of the people there, and I don't know why these people don't have an answer for it. I'm mad, I'm very angry, and I'm very uncertain about my future as a scientist in the United States, and I'm uncertain about these people's future as congressmen in Kansas.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead. So I think maybe we'll do one more, and then we'll shift to part 2 here.
My name's Linda Utoff, and I'm a former educator here in Manhattan, and also a proud representative of the arts community as well. I just wanted to remind you that as Kansans, we need to make these thoughts known in our State House as well, and we've got to consistently get on there. If you haven't got on an app called 5 Calls, I would do that. That's a really great way to get the word out as well as that. We'd also, I'm on the leadership board for the League of Women Voters, who is a nonpartisan group, so I'm not representing them today, and I know there's other members in the room too. But we would like to invite you to an April 3rd meeting at Meadowlark Hills in the evening, and Tom Hawk will be receiving a Good Governance Award, a former senator from our area, who really represents a moderate voice in Kansas and learned how to work across the aisle, and that's something that he'll be doing a panel there for that as well. So thank you for being here, and thank you so much for not being afraid to make your voice heard to people that don't agree with you, as has been said before. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Katie has one, our Indivisible leader here, Katie has one from online, then we have to shift to part 2 here, so go ahead.
This is anonymous.
When the National Academies of Sciences reviewed the plans for the National Bio-Agro Defense Facility, they found that the most difficult events to plan for were human failings and the risk of value engineering. And I had to look up what value engineering was. It's basically the race to the bottom of trying to cut your costs cutting corners. Going on. They found that there was a 75% chance of a leak from NBAF in its lifetime. At the time, we expressed doubts about the wisdom of putting a budget germ lab in the heart of the nation, in the traffic way of 90% of our livestock industry. There were questions of which zoonotic diseases or even whether such diseases as Ebola would be studied here. It appears that the similar budget and staffing cuts have been made to NBAF, as have been made to maintenance of the Bonneville hydroelectric dams and the Hanford Nuclear Reservation. Senator Marshall, you are a physician. How can you be comfortable with the harm-handed way these budget cuts are being made? How is this first do no harm? One other comment. I think I managed to fix the QR code on the right, so if you're interested in getting involved, it's time to stop being reactive and start being active.
Thank you, Katie, and thanks everybody. And I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to read your question or you didn't get a chance to ask it. We're moving into part 2 in the advertisements for this. We promise to provide a public forum for you, do our best to address your concerns, and offer a plan of action to save our democracy. You've just heard the public forum part, which I know could go on for another hour. We have lots to say. In a moment, Katie Smith and Julie Keenan are going to, and all of us really, are going to help people find the resources they need or do our best to do that. We have also listed some resources on the imhk.org website, though of course I'm sure we've missed things. But before we move into that sharing resources phase, I thought that we should offer that plan. So just a few brief concluding remarks, which are in no way complete. And you have a question in the back? No, just a comment. Oh, just a comment? Okay, that's a good idea. The suggestion is for a sister city with Ukraine. Let's bring that into the community part and helping others. That seems like a great moment to bring that up. So please bring that up in that section. So anyway, here are some suggestions. 4 key points on saving democracy. This is not a complete plan, but it's a plan. But the first thing I want you all to remember is remember this: we outnumber the autocrats. The dismantling of our federal government, from national parks to the USDA to the Department of Education to firing air traffic controllers to firing people who are trying to manage bird flu, all of this is not popular. These are not popular plans, and that is why they are disregarding the Constitution. Autocrats use autocracy to impose their plans because their plans are not popular. They could not achieve this degree of destruction via democratic means. And so, fortunately, people opposed to these plans far outnumber the people implementing these plans. We outnumber the autocrats. Now, you may say, okay, we have the numbers, but don't they have power? And so the second thing to keep in mind is 3.5%. When 3.5 of a population actively engages in sustained nonviolent opposition to a political regime, sustained nonviolent opposition, then that 3.5% can topple the regime. This happened in 1986 when millions of Filipinos peacefully protested via the People Power movement. The Marcos regime fell on the 4th day of the mass protest. And there are many other examples. Erica Chenoweth of Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government and Maria Stephan of the U.S. Institute of Peace looked at 323 mass movements that challenged repressive regimes covering from 1900 to 2006, and they wrote a book called Why Civil Resistance Works, The Strategic Logic of Nonviolent Conflict. And what they found is that mass demonstrations of 3.5% of the population cannot be ignored. They find that diversity is the strength of these movements. When you get up to 3.5%, you're cutting across a broad swath of the population. People connected to churches, to schools, to media, to sports teams, to businesses, to the military, and so on. And the sheer number is actually a deterrent against efforts to suppress that, right? Soldiers don't want to suppress because the crowd includes people they know. Family members, neighbors, friends, co-workers. So just remember that. No matter how bad things get, remember 3.5% sustained nonviolent opposition. Collectively, we have power. Now, it's true that in terms of public protest, we're not at 3.5% yet. But the more the autocrats break, the more people will be affected by what they break. And you have heard that here today, right? When you and people that you know have been personally hurt by what they've broken, you're more likely to take action. Action like the Hands Off protest, which is scheduled for Saturday, April 5th. And it's called Hands Off to say hands off Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, our wallets, our books, our public lands, our veteran services, our cancer research, clean energy, schools, free speech, LGBTQ rights, immigrants' rights, and more. And that's Saturday, April 5th. It's nationwide, including right here in Manhattan, Kansas, at the corner of Points and 11th Ave, starting at 11:30 a.m. There's also one in Topeka, and I'm sure there are ones in other places. Which brings me to my third of my 4 points today. My third point is that courage is contagious. The more people who speak up, the more people will speak up, right? And you have demonstrated that here today, right? At first people were sort of hesitant, then people started coming up, and then more people started coming up, and we had to turn away people at the end because courage is contagious. When you hear somebody using their voice, it reminds you of your voice. When someone else takes a stand, you realize I can do that too, which is more incentive to join Indivisible and the many groups. There are many groups behind the April 5th protest, which is taking place across the country to say hands off. And we really do want as many people to join us as possible, no matter your political party, no matter who you voted for. If you're pro-democracy of any political persuasion, this protest is for you. And that brings me to my last point, a point that you really have already demonstrated here today, and I don't know that I need to say, but the last point is community. You know, the last point is look around you. Look at the people in this room. Imagine the people who are watching now, who are watching in the future via the live stream. We are a community, and as has been a theme here today, what do communities do? We take care of each other, right? That's what we do. And that is why you are here, right? You are here because you care. You care, and so you showed up. So what is the plan to save democracy? You are the plan to save democracy. Your friends and neighbors are the plan to save democracy. People in this room are, people watching the live stream are. We are ready to show up. We are ready to show up and do what we can. We are ready to show up and do what is right. We are ready to show up and defend democracy. And I'm going to end with a quote from the late Congressman and civil rights leader John Lewis, who said, "What is right? If we keep our hearts and minds constantly focused on that single question, and if we act on the answer with courage and commitment, we will overcome all that stands between us and a truly beloved community." So. We wanted also to share some resources to help folks, and that is the third part of this. And I know that Julie Keenan and Katie are keeping that organized, and so I'm gonna bring Julie up to the front here because the script that I wrote for myself stops here, and it says now over to Julie Keenan for community resources. So I'm doing that. Julie.
Hello, I'm Julie Keenan. I volunteer at Shepherd's Crossing. I'm on the board. So I just wanted to let you know here in Manhattan, we have a great community full of resources, and we don't know what's going to happen yet. Will there be a pause in Social Security? We don't know. If something happens, we are hoping it's short term, and if it's short term, we're ready for that. We did a lot of this during COVID. So I want you to know, like, all of our agencies partner together. I'm here to talk and represent all of them. Well, first things first, no one in our community should go hungry. We have so many resources. This is something that we, as a community, decided. Nourishtogether.org has links to all of our things that, we have the common table meals, we have all of the Flint Hills Bread Basket, all of our satellite offices for that, we have all our blessing boxes. Anyway, but now if we have people who are facing eviction, or utilities being turned off, or you can't afford your prescriptions, please make an appointment with Shepherd's Crossing. We are your first stop. You come in, we will do what we can to help you, and then if necessary, we will then partner with our other agencies, or we will refer you to them. We do not want people evicted. It snowballs. That's why we're hoping this is short term, because we do have limited funds, which is the other part of this. If you are in a position to help your neighbors, to keep them in their homes, to keep their power on, to keep their water on, to keep getting their prescriptions, write a check. Write a check. We have so many agencies that can help you. It's the easiest thing that you can do, especially right now when time and money at these agencies is limited. If they don't have to fundraise, if they don't have to woo their donors, it is just time they can put back into serving our community. For example, with the bread basket, Carla would love your money. She orders the food at huge discount because she gets it through Harvesters, which is through Feeding America. Your money would go so much further than if you just donate from the store. They will take anything, but that goes for all our agencies. So, I could just, and then we also have a sheet back there that has some more resources. I could list them off real quick. If you needed help with rent, you'd come to Shepherd's Crossing. We'd partner with Catholic Charities, Salvation Army. If you have been evicted, we also have the Manhattan Emergency Shelter. If you're a woman in crisis, we have the Women's Crisis Center here. Anyway, lots of help. Please look out for our community. This is what saves us. This is what gets us through.
And we've put some of those resources up on the website at imhk.org, which I should probably go to and put up on the screen. I hadn't planned it that far ahead. But there's also a calendar up there for future events, for future meetings, which we invite you to join. We have lots of people. I often thank our leaders in the group, and they always tell me, oh no, we're all leaders in the group. And we are all leaders in the group in Indivisible Manhattan, Kansas, and you could be a future leader in the group. But are there particular needs that we should try to meet here today? This is the part where I'm completely off script. I just imagined there'd be people here who needed help, and that we were a large community, and that this is a moment to do that. And I can certainly pull up some of those resources on the screen, but this is that moment. So. Yeah, Katie's gonna take over, which is good, because as you see, I'm floundering.
Big thank you to Phil for doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this. He has been a wonderful moderator. And thank you to Lori in the back for live streaming this for us. I'm so glad that you are all here. Thank you so much for being here. And the fact that we had to have overflow into the Grosbeck room, and I don't know how many people are watching on YouTube right now, but thank all of you. If you picked up one of those little tiny pamphlet booklets, we're going old school, because it's getting harder to talk to our neighbors online, because they're in their echo chamber, we're in our echo chamber. But going old school from World War II old school paper pamphlets, when geared towards troops with low morale, airdropped leaflets during World War II caused men to begin talking to each other about their poor military position, their desire to stay alive for their family's sakes, and the reasonableness of honorable surrender. So once you're done reading your little booklet, pass it on to somebody. It doesn't have to be in person. Maybe a stick it under their windshield wiper, like a parking ticket. Or maybe buy the eggs in the grocery store right next to the $6 sign. That'll make them feel great. There's a lot of things that we can do. You don't have, there's a lot of ways that people can contribute. So if you're interested in joining the movement, please scan the QR code on the right, which hopefully works this time. And if you don't have a phone on you, feel free to write down your email, or the best way to contact you on a index card and give that to me or Phil, or pretty much just, yeah. That is all we have planned.
And Linda Henson has given me some "You're Fired" postcards. If you want to send those to, I mean, I don't know. I can see 3 people up here, maybe. So if you're a postcard writer.
Oh yeah, follow us on Blue Sky at Indivisible MHK. We're also on TikTok, YouTube, Substack, and it's all on our website.
Katie.
That people contact ACLU and get copies of the Constitution, because the very first article has 9 sections about our congressmen and how they are elected and who they represent. This is so important that you know your rights.
Amen. Some of you might be aware that there are ongoing economic boycotts going on across the nation, targeting companies who are withdrawing their DEI programs. That's diversity, equity, and inclusion. I just wanted you to share, The Guardian, which is a newspaper I read daily out of London, is reporting that over 20%, exclusive, 20% of Americans are supporting the boycotts of firms aligning themselves with the Trump agenda. This week, it is Nestle. And if you go to our Facebook page, I've posted, Nestle owns a whole bunch of stuff. So if you like Hot Pockets, don't eat them this week, okay? If you like Nesquik, don't drink it this week. Nestle has a lot of stuff. There's going to be ongoing, and there was, a couple weeks ago, there was a total blackout day, and there's going to be another one of those, and we have those things posted. The boycotts are working, people. I know a lot of people tell me they don't work, but it goes back to that 3.5% that Phil said. If you just participate and continue to do it, it's going to take a toll. Tesla stock has lost half its value. So do not believe that not choosing to buy something is not the way to go. It is the way to go, because that's the power we have, where we spend our money. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher, and thank you to everybody who has come. Thank you to Lori for the live streaming. Thank you to Katie for being our fearless leader, and thank you for, what's that? And the Manhattan Public Library. Karen should really be running this and not me. Thank you, Karen, for making sure I don't forget important things for like 30 years now. But thank you to the Manhattan Public Library for providing us with this forum. Those of us in the Manhattan, Kansas Indivisible group will stick around here for a bit, so if you have questions, if you have needs, please come see us. I was trying to share the website on the screen. As you can see, that has not worked, but that was my aim and why the PowerPoint disappeared. But thank you, everybody, and thank you, everybody that I forgot to thank, too. All of you. Thank you.